So keep in mind, now remember, one of the words for charis is capacity.
Capacity.
This is really important. See, sometimes we look at something in the Bible and it's like, you know what? Not only am I afraid to do that, I don't even have the capacity to believe that I could. The Bible talks a lot of times about grace for grace. What does that mean? That means grace gives me a capacity where I am now to step into another greater aspect of grace, strength, power, all of this stuff that God is.
So grace has levels?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It has greater expressions, but everything starts with, do I have the capacity of heart? Well, capacity always starts with a decision. I talk about this in my new series on overcoming bad decisions.
Bad decisions, yes.
So, when I read through the Bible the first a dozen times, or the New Testament, man, I'm telling you, I would read stuff and I would just say, God, I wouldn't have done that if I'd been you. I'd have killed them. Honestly, that's just the way I talk to her. I'm like, why did you do that? That's you should have punished them. You should have. But I would always say, so I'm going to believe whatever you put in here. And I would sometimes I'd say, you know what? I don't believe that right now. I don't want to believe. I don't even want it to be. I don't want this to be what's true.
Yeah.
But I'm willing if you can get me there. So what am I asking for? I'm just asking for the capacity even to consider something as being true, or to consider following God and down some path, So since grace is, so something about, okay, so we're talking about grace. Grace is a power, a strength, an ability, a capacity that works in the heart and comes by unmerited favor. So now here's the interesting thing. So we think about the fake grace movement. They just twist grace up into mercy. And basically they twist the concept of grace up into everything's okay because you're always going to get mercy. Well, mercy is always there, but that's not what grace is about. Grace is about being where you are, and something in your heart changes, and you suddenly start being able to see yourself doing something you couldn't do, or believing that God can do something for you that you haven't believed. And so then once you get the capacity, then as you develop your heart beliefs, then that turns into the power or the ability or the strength to actually, the power of God for it to actually happen. You let that. So it's all about getting a capacity that makes you willing to let God do something in your heart that right now you can't believe for, you're not willing to get right.
That ties to your first session that you were talking about, how to overcome fear in the chaotic world.
So, but here comes the secret. Here comes the big reveal. Remember, the word for gift is charismata. The root word of gift of the Holy Spirit is grace. The word gift is not a good translation of that Greek word, because a gift is an expression of the grace of God.
Wow.
The fruit is an expression of the grace of God. Everything that works in our life, even though it may manifest in different ways, is an expression of the grace of God. It's something happening in our heart that we can't do ourselves, but we're willing to let the Holy Spirit flow through us. We're willing to yield to the power of God, so that whether it's a gift of the Spirit, whether it's a fruit of the Spirit, whether it's ministry, doesn't matter what it is, if it manifests the character and nature of God, it's a work of grace. See, we've categorized these things. We've segmented these things, and we've segregated them, and we're saying, okay, over here's the gifts, and they have nothing to do with the fruit, and the fruit has nothing to do with character, and character has nothing to do with faith, and it's like, no, it all has to do with the life and the power of God manifesting in us, which is a work of grace. Everything is a work of grace.